Okay, so thanks, Waqas, for doing this.
No
Yeah,
problem,
it's
man.
cool
Thanks for
finally
having me.
to get together after forever. Yeah, dude, how's it
Yeah,
going?
man. Good, man. It's been what, 11 years, I think?
Yeah.
11 years? Holy moly. Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't know, I think I may have last seen you maybe on campus otherwise, but maybe since
Right.
first year of university.
No, yeah, because there was some kind of event in Poets. I think maybe you were playing the guitar,
Oh,
so I came to see
you were
that.
there, eh?
Yeah.
Holy, yeah, that was like I think that was like third year maybe. Um, well, yeah, that
Yeah,
was pretty
20.
embarrassing. I was singing my heart out on that day. I remember
Nah,
that.
dude. I mean, it was great. I don't remember your performance, but I know you were there and you were really into it, so I admire that.
Yeah, I was super into it. Thanks, man. Yeah, I know.
Because
I
I
I picked up the guitar like probably when I was I don't know maybe like 12 or 13. My sister started playing, so I
Oh,
used to like watch her play, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I can learn a few things here and there, and just like
yeah.
self-taught how to play the guitar. Um, Most recently sang on my own wedding. So my wife forced me to sing at
Jeez.
my own wedding. So I was like, holy, this is
Yo, is
gonna
there a
be.
video of this?
There is a video of this, but it stays deep in my cupboards. It doesn't
Okay.
pop up. It's somewhere. Yeah, I actually have it. My wife was like, you know what? Like we had no practice, so the plan was I was gonna practice, and I was
Yeah.
gonna like prepare like a week in advance, prepare a few songs, mostly like love songs and stuff. Um, and then what ended up happening was like the week before the wedding, I realized I should have realized there's no time to practice. You don't have time to
Yeah.
do anything. You're like running around. So literally like the morning of the wedding, I was like, okay, I haven't practiced anything at all. I don't even know what I'm playing yet. I don't know the song list. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I was literally like trapped in my room for like 2 hours trying to just figure out what songs I could play potentially if it happens. I texted my wife saying, like, I'm probably going to bail out. I'm not going to be doing this. We can let my
Yeah.
other friends perform who are going to perform anyways. I'm not doing this. And she's like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. And then literally the day of the wedding, like 10 minutes before I was scheduled, she's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to be going up, right? I'm like, no,
Oh,
man, I
geez.
can't do this. So instead of playing love songs, I ended up playing like Boulevard of Broken Dreams for some odd reason. Uh,
Yo, that's crazy. I've been playing the same song on guitar. That's like a song I know how to play.
yeah. It's a song that most people will try to learn very early on.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing songs like that, really random songs. I ended up playing like the Titanic theme song, but in Urdu, which was hilarious as
Oh,
well because there was
okay.
like an Urdu version with like Urdu lyrics. So I ended up singing that as well. And she was like, "These are not love songs. Like you, you picked the wrong songs." But it was
Yeah,
cool.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams is kind of sad. It's not a
Yeah,
great tone at a wedding.
yeah. So that ended up happening. It was fun, good times. But anyways, ever
Yeah.
since then, I retired my guitars. They're on the wall in
Oh.
my office now. I just put them up,
Yeah,
but
I
I
got
play
I got
every now and
my
then.
guitar here. I mean, I actually bought a guitar poster like with all the different chords on there,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just I just stare at it every day and I don't play the guitar. So I feel bad all the time. But that's a good thing because I figure if I feel bad enough, eventually I'll be like, all right, let's just do it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I those like if you've never had like formal lessons, even
Yeah.
learning the names of each chord is annoyingly hard. So
Yeah.
I actually still I know how to play most chords, but I don't know what any of those chords are called. So someone will be
Mm.
like, if I'm like jamming with a friend, they'll be like, oh yeah, like rip out an E, and I'll be like, dude, I don't know what an E is. Tell me where my four fingers go. Um,
Yeah.
that's about it. It's pretty funny. That's cool, man. So you're trying to learn another skill during this pandemic, eh?
Yeah, dude, I'm always doing something. I actually put up a video of me singing I think it was Guns N' Roses version of Knocking on Heaven's Door. It's on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Like I don't
Oh, is
think
it?
it's there on my YouTube channel, but I'm hoping to do another cover, but lately I just haven't picked up the guitar. So,
Yeah.
you know, what can you do?
Well, if you get a new subscriber, you know who it was.
Yeah, okay, okay, perfect. um, yeah. So when did you get married?
This was 2017, end of the year, 2017. So
Oh, geez. Okay, it's been a while.
yeah,
It's been like
yeah,
three,
it
three
has.
and a
It's
bit
been
years.
3. Yeah, man, I'm getting old now. I've got grays and everything.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, got married a couple of years after school. Um, Wife was still in school. She was doing her master's at U
Mm,
of T. She's a speech language pathologist, so she was doing her master's right after we got married.
yeah.
Then a year after, or like maybe 8 months after she was done, I went back to school. So I went and did my master's recently as well, in biomedical engineering at U of T.
Oh yeah.
So then I was in school for like a portion of our marriage. So it was good. I mean, it's cool that you're able to still not let your life stop, like if
Mm,
you've got passions, continue them. A lot of people say, "Oh, when you get married, it's over. Like you ain't doing anything anymore. You're getting married, you're gonna buy a house and have kids, and it's GG, sit down." But that's
man.
that's not the case. It's far from reality.
Well, I mean, like I don't know about marriage, but I imagine it's just like anything else. Like you just have to go through the grind, put in an effort every day, show up, and as
100%.
long as you show up, you're already a step ahead of most people.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's the thing, right? Like you can't, especially something like this, like you can't half-ass. So um, you can beep that out. Oop, I don't know if that was
No,
supposed
no,
to be.
swearing's all good. It's all good. I mean, I don't go out of the way to swear, but if it happens, it's happened before in a bunch of conversations.
Okay, that's cool. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, man.
but yeah, so why like what took you from mechanical to biomedical engineering?
Oh man, I get this question a lot, especially from
Uh,
people who are engineers themselves, right? They're always like, "What happened?" Um, I don't know. So it's interesting. I realized like in maybe second or third year of my undergrad that I had
mhm,
this. I always had an inclination towards like the healthcare world for some odd reason.
okay.
So I'd always been interested a little bit in. I've always been like into working out, into fitness, into health in general, living like a fairly healthy lifestyle. Um, and I think in my second year, I had a really bad injury.
Mm,
I herniated my some disc in my lower back, so I was like in bed rest. This is like after basketball. I went up for a rebound and I landed, and or maybe in midair I got like hit from behind and my back just seized. So it was pretty ugly. So I was in like bed rest for a couple of days. I remember. Um, and then during like rehab, this was in school, right? Second year of university. So during rehab, I realized like how like amazingly fragile the body is, but at the same
yeah.
time how powerful it is. Like you can go from 0 to 100 real quick. So my rehab went pretty well, I'd say overall. I got into working out pretty much. I was always working out before that, but I got into working out a little bit more after
Mm,
that. Uh, Serious about making sure I get strong. My back pain, like today, is like all but gone, pretty much. I mean, it's still there a little bit, but it's not like
yeah.
it doesn't hinder me at all on a day-to-day basis, which is awesome. Um, and I credit a lot of like strength training towards my overall success. So that's when I actually like I got really really mesmerized by the fact that hey, like the the fact that the human body is like a machine as well that can be literally broken down and reborn into something else. That was really cool to me. So in third year, I took like a biomechanics course, or was it fourth year? Fourth year, I took a biomechanics course, loved
Yeah.
it. My project was like on the biomechanics of competitive weightlifting. So I did like, I
Oh.
broke down the biomechanics of like the deadlift in a gym, right? So did that. That was really cool. I thought it was cool. Um, and then I think like in second or third year, we had like the option to potentially do like a biomechanics option alongside the mechanical option. I don't know if you guys had like something similar. You were electrical, right?
Uh, yeah, but I mean, I think some people did like a computer engineering minor or something.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
because
yeah,
I was
exactly.
electrical, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there were these minors and options that Waterloo had. So we had the option to do an option in biomechanics. Um, but then when I went and spoke to one of the counselors, she was like, "Oh no, like if you want to do it, you're gonna have to stay behind another
Oh,
year because you need to catch up to courses. And I was like, screw that. I have my friends and everything. I don't want to go back and get into second 2.5, like go back a year and a half and become a second year student all over again.
oh yeah.
And then lose connection with your friends and your co-ops are all over the place. So you never really see anybody
Yeah.
ever again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grind it out. I'll do mechanical. It's all good. And then by the time I graduated, I still felt the same. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right field or not.
Yeah.
Um, so I went back home for a few months to spend some time with my parents. Came back after like 4 months after we graduated. Landed a job in technically, I guess, mechanical. It was an acoustics consulting
Yeah.
company in Mississauga. So worked there for a little bit. Um, 2 years. I think I was there for 3.5 years, but 2 years went by, still felt the same. I was like, holy, I still love the healthcare world. What's going on? So I
Yeah.
applied to a couple of master's programs, got rejected from everything because I realized my grades were garbage in
Oh,
second and third year. So it finally came back to haunt me. I was like, you know what? If I had worked hard a little bit harder in third year, I would
yeah.
have been all right. I wouldn't be getting rejected. So yeah, that kind of happened. I got rejected left, right, and center. And I was like, holy, like there's no way I'm gonna be stuck in mechanical for the rest of my life. Um, so then this is a journey, by the way. Like, so bear with me.
Yeah.
Um,
No, no worries.
yeah, yeah. And then I think it was 2017, so 2 years later, I ended up applying and got in and started uh, an undergrad program in kinesiology at York University.
Okay.
So this is like super random. So I got in, I spoke to my employer. I was like, you know what? It's completely random. It's very different. It's an undergrad, but I'll do it part time while I work with you guys.
Yeah.
Um, is that something you're cool with? And they were pretty cool with it. They were like, as long as you get your work done, it's all good.
Yeah.
Something that you want to do, like it's a passion you want to follow, go for it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll do this. So then I did maybe one and a half or maybe one and a half courses for 2 terms. So maybe 3 courses in over a span of like a year.
Mhm.
And then I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Mm.
Reason really being, it was a fresh undergrad. So if I were to do this like part-time program, it would take me like 9 or 10 years to finish it, literally.
Jeez. Okay.
Because I would do like a course a term essentially. I couldn't do it longer because I was working full time.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of gave that up. So another year went by, and then 2019, I applied to the same program at U of T that I got rejected in.
Yeah.
It was a biomedical engineering master's program, so um, very relevant to kind of what I wanted to do. Had the healthcare aspect embedded into engineering.
Mhm.
So a lot of the work is like design and development of medical devices. So anything and everything you see in a hospital setting, plus like prosthetics and implants and things like that. So it was really cool. So I got in. I somehow got in. I don't know why they rejected me 2 years ago, but then they accepted me at that during that year.
Yeah.
Probably reviewers bias or something. I don't know. So I got in, and that's kind of where it led me. Got into the field. Um, Went back to school full time
Mm.
for it was only a year long, so it wasn't too bad. And then yeah, after I during so 2020 pandemic hit last year,
Oh
and I was
no.
still in school, so it was I think I had a month left or a month and a half left till my courses were done. Um, so it was 8 months of school that I started in the fall of 2019, went
Mhm.
into about April of 2020 was when school courses were supposed to end. Then I was supposed to
Yeah.
have a 4 month co-op that I was supposed to try to find a job for. But the pandemic hit, so everything went like virtual for the last 2 months. It was really weird. First time I've
Yeah.
done that. I mean, a lot of students these days are already doing it and they're living it. Like they're living the
Yeah.
full, starting off university in their first year, doing everything virtually. They haven't even seen people. Um, but yeah, we did that, kind of went into that phase. And then I found a job about June of last year
Okay.
at UHN, University Health Network. So they're one of the bigger research hospitals in the country.
Okay.
So they cover like downtown, they have like Toronto Western, Toronto General. two or three other hospitals that are all under their name. So I started working in research. So now I'm working in research now, for a rehab team. So we basically do a lot of work in design and development of like technologies and um, like revising guidelines for individuals with disabilities and
Okay.
their caregivers. So just finding ways of making their lives safer, so that they on a day-to-day basis their lives can be easier pretty much. Um, so kind of work there now. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that full time, um, alongside this new gig that I started as well. So it's a whole bunch of
Yeah,
things
I
that.
want to get into that, but just to kind of mirror your journey, as you said, um, after I graduated from Waterloo, so that was 2015, I ended up working near Ottawa in the town of Perth, Ontario,
Oh yeah,
2016. So I was there for about 2.5 years, and yeah, I think looking back on it, I think I wasn't in the best physical shape because like just sitting at the office or day to day, something would hurt all the time, especially my lower back. But I just kind of, I think I had just been brute forcing things like all the way since back in high school. So in high school, I was on the track and field team and I did sprints and I wasn't the best sprinters, but I would always just like go hard every practice basically. And I think my recovery and taking care of my body wasn't that great. So looking back on it, it carried through year after year. Um, but anyway, I was in Perth for a while, and initially I didn't realize it was like a physical pain that kept bothering me. So for a while, I thought maybe I can't focus because my mind is too scattered. So I started practicing self meditation, which is
nice.
sit, close your eyes, focus on your breathing. So I did that for a few months and then, I felt the same way. So at some point it was like it took a lot of energy just to um it felt like it took more energy to get through the day than I got back. And it wasn't about the job. Like the job was good, the people were great. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed working there. But I just thought I should take some time off. So I left in one summer and then I took a year off, came back to stay with my parents and then I I saw a physiotherapist. I started doing yoga classes. So over time, you kind of notice, all right, well, if you have the mental drive to do a lot of activities, but your body can't support you, you got to bring your body up to a point where it can do that. So
yeah,
um, anyway, that's kind of how I ended up going back to Fanshawe College. One, because there was a year gap on my resume, so I thought I
yeah,
should do something. And the other thing was, well, I do want more practical, hands-on skills. So college
yeah.
is a good option for that.
Hundred
And
percent.
now I'm here. So
How'd you
uh,
find the like the journey of taking a like a year off working on yourself? Like how did you see like over that span of a year and a half, or however long it was, that there were like seriously positive changes that you were having in your life? Like how you felt, your body, your mind, all of it.
I think over the year and over months, I started to notice that. But that's why um, I gave myself a year because I didn't know I didn't know what to do to improve myself, physically or mentally or whatever. So first thing I cut out was the work part, and of course it was living away from the family, so it cut out a lot of things like cooking. My parents would cook, laundry. Someone's doing laundry. I'm still doing housework, but so the first thing was cutting out a bunch of stuff that are stressors, like living alone, doing a lot more work physically, like housework and stuff like that. And then the first
Yeah.
few months were basically uh, I don't know. I don't remember what I did. I think I just watched a lot of TV and movies basically, because
Yeah.
like I remember I was sitting in the basement on a couch and it's really soft. but I would try to straighten my legs, and it would just hurt all the time, and my back would hurt, my legs would hurt. So I would rest my legs on some cushions so that the knee's not fully extended. Still
Yeah.
hurt. So if you look at specifically that posture of just sitting like that, now it's like I'm way more flexible and the pain is way less.
Yeah.
So day to day, I don't know if I notice much, but I think over the year, I definitely it's like I started learning how to pay attention, if that makes sense.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of what I'm wondering, because like I look back at 3, 4, 5 years ago, and my lifestyle is totally different from what it was back then. But then also how you feel, like it's it's the harsh reality of, I think, aging.
Yeah.
Not that we're like old or anything, but like you are at your prime during certain times of your life, and you start to
Mhm.
decline after a certain time in life. I mean, LeBron James is the only one who defies that logic, but
Oh, okay.
otherwise, otherwise most people get worse when they age. But the amount of time and effort it takes to continue to feel just as good as you did maybe 5 years ago is
Mhm.
like it's just like tenfold, because it takes a lot more effort, really. um, but I also
Yeah.
feel like you're at a better mental state, knowing that you're putting in the effort, and that in of itself is like almost like a placebo. It makes you feel better even if you don't physically feel better. That mental state
Yeah.
of knowing that you're working on something, you're feeling better on a day-to-day basis, makes you feel even better the following day. um,
Well, it's like I think about it more like so the if in my opinion, the human mind has the capacity to, like, obviously if you want to, you have to push yourself and your body to do things you didn't think were possible. So like some people run ultra marathons, like 200-kilometer, 200-mile races. Like that's not just practice. Like your
oh yeah.
body's going to break down and you have to go through it anyway. So that shows that you need that drive to push past your body's signals to stop.
Oh
But
yeah.
on the other hand, if that's all you know, your body is literally going to break down. And if you don't know how to bring it back, then there's always going to be a gap between what you want to do and what you can do. And as you age, you have to adjust what you're going to do. So you can't go hard all the time, but I think you just kind of learn, um like, you get smart about it. You work smarter, not harder. It's like,
Oh yeah.
when is a good time to try an ultra marathon? I'm not going to do that, but like, when is a good time for me to run a 10K? Okay, it's in the summer, it's warm. Um, uh, I can go out at any time of the day basically, and I can put in a lot more reps. So it's a smart time to push yourself. So I think, yeah, that gap between, like, your mind is part of your body, because your
Yeah.
body, I mean, is it part of your body? I don't know, but your brain is definitely part of your body. So, um, yeah, I think it's just like trying to find a balance. And I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of what I think about it.
No, I agree though. Like I see it now with, I think, as I get older as well, my family and my friends, where everyone's getting older, right? We don't have I don't my best friends aren't 18 anymore. So same thing with family members, right? So you see even parents, uncles, aunts who are now starting to feel the effects that they may not have felt 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, and even that, it's an eye opener, right? Like a lot of times, it's as simple as things like diet, right?
Oh yeah.
And like I'm Pakistani, and in our culture, like having an inch of oil on top of every single piece of like every single bite that you take is like normal.
Yeah.
So just making like parents, friends, family, whoever it is, realize that that's not exactly going to help you when you're in your 50s and your arteries are starting to get clogged. That's an eye opener, right? Like a lot of people will start making those changes from now, which our parents may not have done 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
just little things like that can make like it just it's a compounding effect, kind of like what you said, right? Like
Yeah.
you ran so much back when you were younger that maybe the effects were felt into your university and post university days. Um, and it's the same thing with everything, really. Too much of anything is going to be bad for you eventually.
Yeah.
Um, so moderation in everything is key. But the body is like, it's one place where like you can push it to the extreme and see how you react. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you never truly know how it's going to affect you later on as well. Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, about the, it's so sad. Like some people, specifically like family, are they have a good, they have a not good, but you can see in their attitude. It's like, oh, they're always doing stuff. They're going for walks. They're lifting things, doing
oh yeah,
housework. So you know, even if that person is not necessarily exercising, you know, they're using their body and their joints. So you kind of feel confident. Okay, well, they're probably in reasonable shape.
oh yeah,
um, and the diet too. You know, some they pay attention, but you have other people who just focus on one or two things. Like they'll focus on their diet because they have to,
yeah,
but like they'll just get up to go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen and
yeah.
come back. And I
And
don't
you
know.
know
I
what? A
mean,
lot of it's like limitations, right? Like some people,
yeah,
uh, like not everyone's gonna be at the same state of mind at the same time, right? Like
yeah,
you can't expect everyone out there to have to be good with their diet, to be good with their exercise, to be good with their sleep, to be good with their like how much movement they get in a day, things like that. It's all it's a combination of all those things at a good level that'll get you at a fairly decent state on a day-to-day basis. But you can educate and enlighten and spread the word about these certain things, like especially if you even if you don't do them, like
yeah,
we all know that eating fried chicken 2 or 3 days a week is not good for you, but a lot of us still do it, right?
yeah,
We don't practice it, but we know even if you tell somebody, even if you don't practice it and you're still preaching, that's okay. Everyone says practice what you preach. It to some extent it works, but at the same
yeah,
time, if someone doesn't know eating fried chicken 3 times a week is bad for you, and you tell them even though you don't do it, maybe they'll be like, "Let me go do some research and see what this is about." Maybe they'll
yeah.
learn something, right? So it's a balance, I think. But everyone gets there at their own pace, and everyone kind of has everyone's fighting their own demons on a day-to-day basis. I think we tend to
That's
we
true.
tend to think that like, oh, that Instagram celebrity or social media influencer that I follow has it perfect. Even
Mhm.
they're fighting their demons, whatever it might be. They're fighting it as well. So you're not the only ones in your day-to-day and year-to-year struggles, so to speak.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of all goes into your your startup basically. Is it EvoHealth? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, you are. Yes.
So, I mean, I took a look at your website. It's a
Yeah.
dope website. I feel like you
Thanks,
have
man.
changed the layout a couple times because it looks different
Yes.
now, but
Yes, it
it
does.
looks good. I like it.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So here's what I see from the outside. So just let me
Yeah.
know how accurate it is. So
Yeah.
basically, you're a startup. You sell fitness equipment, some office equipment, but also there's a portion of the business focused on speech therapy. I don't know what that is, but maybe you can talk about it. But
Yeah.
so overall, it's like I feel like you're just starting, so you might have bigger plans. So yeah, I mean, what's it all about? And I mean, I kind of have an idea, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're bang on, man. So backstory is so my wife, like I mentioned, she went to school for speech language pathology, which is essentially she does speech therapy, speech and communication and language therapy for all sorts of patients. It could be patients slash clients. Um, it could be kids who are having difficulties with speech early on. It could be individuals who go through like some sort of trauma, that need speech or language or communication therapy. So she went to school. She studied all that. It was her master's program. It was
Yeah.
pretty hectic program, pretty tough. Um, so she did that. Now she's working as an SOP, a speech language pathologist, and she sees all sorts of clients on a day to day basis. Um, so kind of how that started was a few years ago. We were thinking about like potentially getting her to have her own little practice. So the idea is that as normally as a therapy provider, like be it physio or massage or chiro, occupational therapy, speech language pathology. Oh, there's a whole breathload of therapy services out there. Um, a lot of people can be like their own bosses, so
Mm.
they can work for multiple organizations. They can be what's called a subcontractor for many different organizations. So she actually does that herself. She's a subcontractor for a few organizations, as well as like working part-time for one specific company as well. Um, so we had always thought, hey, like, can you potentially get started on setting up your own thing where when you actually go see patients, especially all the money you make, it comes back to you. Because what happens is, as a subcontractor, you end up working for somebody, they take like a 30% commission, you keep 70%.
Oh,
And so that's how they make money. But what you have to do is just sit back. You don't have to find clients, you don't have to do anything at all, other than
right.
the actual work of managing the clients. But all the marketing, the admin fees, and all that is covered by like your contractor, so to speak, or the company that you work for. So we're like, hey, we should set this up where like that 30% that you lose in your fees ends up coming back to you. So we kind of thought about that a few years ago. This was maybe a couple summers ago, and then when I went to school for my graduate program, um, I took a course in entrepreneurship, and basically what we did there was come up with like a business plan for some business idea. So it could be anything. It was a class of 3 people. It was huge. So we all came up with like a business idea of some sort, and over the span of 4 months, we essentially came up with a business plan, how you would make it profitable. So I took this idea that we had and I took it into that class, and I created a full like business plan out of it.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but our idea was more of not just speech services, it's all of it. So for example, I'll just give you an example of like, let's say a person has a severe car accident. So they have to go through if it's severe enough where they need to see a bunch of providers. They have to see a physiotherapist, a massage therapist. Sometimes they have to see an occupational therapist who basically help them with like day-to-day activities. um, they may have to see a speech language pathologist if they're having like communication or language issues. They may need to see a psychologist. So there's like a whole load of um, therapists that they may have to see. So our idea was like, how do we bring about like a network of these therapists under one group, that can provide therapy to patients or clients who need not just a physiotherapist and not just an occupational therapist, but may need like an interconnective, like a network of interdisciplinary professionals,
Yeah.
um, who can bounce not just like ideas off of each other, but they can also say, hey, like, so for example, a physiotherapist can tell the massage therapist like, we're working on X, Y, and Z. So when he comes in or she comes in for their massage next week, like concentrate on these areas because this is what we're doing during physio as well, for
Yeah.
example. So that was kind of our idea to start. Um, so I created the entire business plan, kind of got this idea in my head that we can get this going soon, like even while I'm in school might be possible. And then March 2020, when the pandemic started, rolled around, and we obviously got smacked with gym closures, and
Oh, yeah.
businesses got shut down. Everything got shut down pretty much. So um, that was where the idea kind of came about for selling fitness equipment, because we were like, hey, gyms are shut down. There's like absolutely no, you can't find fitness equipment anywhere. I went to like my local Fitness Depot,
Yeah.
which is like a big fitness chain. they had nothing. Like they were completely sold out. They're literally they had like a few bars here and there, but that was it. And they were like, these are all sold. Like someone's already bought them like this morning or like a few hours ago. So everything, they were completely empty. And I was like, this is amazing. The fact that like the biggest franchises and biggest stores that sell fitness equipment are sold out. And I went online and looked at a few more companies, like especially the big name companies like Rogue and all the other manufacturers of fitness equipment. They were all sold out too. I'm like, what is going on over here? So
Mm.
went online, did some research, uh, found out that like 90% of companies actually manufacture everything overseas. Nothing's actually manufactured here in North
Oh,
America.
okay.
So things are all manufactured pretty much in like China, in Taiwan, and a few other places. So I found some suppliers like overseas. Went to the website Alibaba, which a lot of people probably heard of and know of.
Yeah.
Found a bunch of suppliers there and just started talking to people locally as well within my own network, like friends and family and stuff. And I was like, hey, if I order like I'm gonna be ordering some fitness equipment for myself. If I order like some extras, would you be willing to purchase them? Like I can
Yeah.
sell them to you at cost, right? I'm not gonna make any money off of you guys. I'll just sell them to you. And they were like, yeah, you know what? Like this may end up going on for quite a few months, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So I rounded up like a group of like 10 to 20 people, I think, early on. They were all like, yeah, we'll end up purchasing stuff with you. So so I made an order, I placed an order. It takes like a couple of months for orders to come in because they all come in by ship essentially. So it's all like put into
Right.
massive containers and they come over. So it takes quite a few days. I learned that it takes like a ship 35 days or 40 days to cross from like China across the Pacific Ocean into Vancouver, essentially. So they
Oh,
take
yeah.
that route, like behind the Pacific Ocean route. They land in Vancouver, and then
Mhm.
everything's taken off the ships and they're put onto trains, and then they come on a train over here to Toronto. So
Mm.
I learned about the entire like logistics process of how that works. I'm still learning, like to this day. I'm still learning about a lot of
Yeah.
things. So so yeah, so I kind of I bought initially I had like this group of 10 or 20 people. And then I was like, you know what? If there's 10 or 20 people that I know already that need this, maybe there's like 5 people that those 10 people may know. Like even if I get
Right.
50% of people to like give a referral to somebody else, I might be able to sell more. So I like just made I like doubled all the quantities that I was going to order initially from my friends, just doubled it up. And I was like, you know what? If I have some storage, extra stuff, I can just store it in my garage here.
Mm.
So ended up doing that, got all of our stuff to come in, and we sold out in like 2 days. So I was like, holy, I set up a website. People started finding us. We posted on Kijiji, um, had like a ton of questions early on, especially. It was crazy. Um, I remember like my wife had set up the Kijiji page for us, and so
Yeah.
she was like she would like we would sleep, and overnight we would wake up the next morning and we'd see like 40 messages on Kijiji overnight. And we're like, holy, like this is crazy. So we
Right.
literally like didn't really set up anything other than like an online store. Initially, we were just doing like e-transfers, um, just selling them locally like
Yeah.
that. And then eventually we're like, there might be something here. Um,
Right.
so started looking into more like types of fitness equipment people wanted. Initially, it was like dumbbells and things like that. So we kind of went from there. Now we're like doing a whole boatload of products. So you've got like barbells and benches and flooring and weight plates. It's pretty much anything
Yo,
you need
the
for a home
the
gym.
kettlebells, I couldn't find a kettlebell for months.
Yeah, right. Like it's crazy. People still can't. like
Yeah.
like everything's been. I know companies that it's sad, but there's a few companies in like I live in Mississauga, so there's a few local companies in Mississauga that had like great reviews that went all the way down to like a 2 point something on Google reviews because they had promised their customers that hey, we will get you your products. People got them like 7 months later. It was ridiculous.
Jeez.
Like imagine spending like 2 grand not having anybody to speak to because their customer service was like went down the drain. They weren't replying to emails, weren't replying to
Yeah.
phone calls, and these are companies that are like family owned businesses that have been around for years. Um, and they just like absolutely got annihilated online through like I've learned that the consumer is brutal. They
Bro, I can only imagine. Like,
yeah.
oh,
People know what they want, and if they don't get what they want, they get mad. So so,
one
so we
star, zero
yeah,
stars.
literally. But so we've been so we kind of got into that, and while obviously it was a huge pivot, because we initially were going to get into services,
Yep.
for like what my wife does, and then we got into like this product side where we're like, well, it kind of it's kind of in the same space. It's all in the health and fitness world.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's pivot towards the product side. Let's keep the services side on the back burner. Let's see what happens. Um, and then our plans are always to eventually launch the services side as well. So we recently launched her the speech therapy side. So she's seeing clients through our brand, through the EvoHealth brand as well. And our plans are now to move like into expanding into like massage therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy as well. Get therapists on board, similar to how she works. Like get them on as contractors. We'll do all the work with like marketing, finding clients, and then they just go in and they essentially try to work together. Everyone tries to work together in a collaborative environment and essentially provide like the best therapy experience for people who need it.
Yeah, dude. I
So
mean, it sounds so cool. Like initially I had no idea what you were doing because I was like, oh, he's selling some equipment. Cool.
yeah,
But just today I saw the website. I was like, okay, yeah, it's come a long way in a few months. It's pretty clear
yeah.
what you're doing. It's really fascinating, especially hearing that most of the fitness equipment is actually manufactured outside of, I think you said Canada, right? Or was it North America?
In North America in general. I mean, there's a lot of companies, really high quality, really great companies here locally. Don't get me wrong. There's
Oh, okay.
some fantastic stuff here. Um, I actually got exposed to a lot of these amazing manufacturers that make things locally. There's a few companies in the Toronto area. There's lots of companies out west that are making and designing and building their own things with locally
Right.
made, locally sourced steel, locally sourced cast iron, things like that. Um, and then they do the full design and manufacturing here. But obviously, that also comes with a cost, right? Because
Yeah.
labor is like 3 times, 4 times, maybe even 10 times the price in certain sectors in North America than it is in Asia. Um, the quality is like right up there, right? Like it will
Mhm.
always be much higher because things are crafted um, by people who have a lot more experience, a lot more hands-on experience than those in Asia. And then in Asia, it's a numbers game, like it's a volume game that they play. So
Yep.
they like sell in the hundreds of thousands. Like a factory can pump out, if it's like small products, they can pump out like thousands a day, no problem. Whereas over here, like it's done at a much smaller scale, but the quality is so much higher that you kind of make the same amount of money if it comes to when you look at the business, because you're also spending a lot more. But then you also get products that are will last longer, no doubt about it. Um, you'll get better service here, right? It's a locally made product. You can probably speak to the manufacturers a lot easier than you can like if you had to speak to someone in China. um,
Hmm.
like it's a
And
lot
you
more
don't know
difficult,
China, and you
right?
don't know. I
Like
guess it's
Mandarin or
mainland. So mainland, they speak Mandarin. Yeah.
Mandarin or like Cantonese. I don't know. I'm not sure which one.
I
I'm
think
ignorant
Cantonese is
on
Hong Kong, but
Hong
I mean,
Kong.
with
Yeah,
all the stuff going on there, I don't even know if. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but
yeah. I
that
just
is.
speak to my guys who give me stuff. So
Yeah, yeah,
so it's definitely like it's been a huge learning curve. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a blast. Like I've I have never worked harder in my life, like in terms of working towards like goals that I have.
yeah.
My wife as well, same thing. So she's helping with the business. I'm doing a lot of the work right now, but she's doing like the services side. Um, but yeah, we're hoping to we have a few cool things planned in the next few months that we're hoping to expand into. Um, and we'll see how that goes from there, man. It's been a fun experience, a fun journey, and I work full time, so that kills me. Like I'm absolutely like
Yeah.
I've got a job that's pretty flexible. So my supervisor is pretty cool as well, and he knows that I have my own business as well. So he's pretty chill about the fact that he's fairly flexible with our deadlines. Um, but I make sure I do my work. So that makes a difference. But I'm literally like I work till like midnight or like 1 a.m. And there's like a 12-hour, I don't know if you knew this, I learned 12-hour time difference between us and the Chinese. So
Oh, okay.
so so when it's like 10 p.m. here, that's when I actually start talking to a lot of my suppliers out in Asia.
Right.
So it'll be like some days I'll be like 3 a.m. in my bed, like on my phone, just like texting these guys what I need next and coordinating things. But it's fun. It's been a cool
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
journey.
I mean, I want to get into it more, but I know you got to get going soon. So, I mean, it's awesome that there's so much to talk about because I'm really interested in
Yeah,
the
man.
side of it. I mean, I don't intend to start my own fitness business. So it's just cool just to like learn about how you get your suppliers, how things are shipped. But anyway, good luck with your
Thanks,
business,
man. Thank you.
Evo
Appreciate
Health,
it.
and the
Thank you.
website is evoh.com or
.ca. .ca.
.ca. Okay.
Gotta stay Canadian.
So yeah, yeah, my personal website is also .ca. So um,
Yeah.
well, I just want to leave with it. So I just want to tell a quick story, then I'll end the recording, and then we can
Sounds good,
talk
man.
about when I plan to release it and stuff. So
Sounds good.
basically, the first impression I have of you is in first year on the fourth floor of our residence where we both live. I was in the common area outside the Don's room just working on a project. I think it was a
Oh, that
programming
common
project.
area. I loved it.
Yeah. So you just came from your side of the floor with, I think it was a box of pizza, like an empty box in one hand and just eating a slice in the other hand. So you just came directly behind me because that's where the the trash bins were, and you just threw the box in the garbage bin. So I was just looking at you because I was wondering, why is he throwing it in the garbage? That should go to recycling, right? So it's like you were reading my mind because you just looked at me and you're just like, come on, man, we're brown, we don't recycle. And we just both started laughing. It was the funniest thing.
Hey, you know what? I didn't remember this until you told me this right now. That is hilarious. I remember doing that, and that is so embarrassing as well because, um, honestly, yeah, I can't. So that was probably the first few weeks that I
Yep.
got to Canada.
Oh,
I
really?
grew
Okay.
up I grew up in the Middle East, so like I spent my entire life in Saudi Arabia. That's where I grew up,
Oh,
and
geez.
we did recycle there. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Like there was no
Okay.
concept of recycling. I had never seen a blue box in my life until I moved here, and I was like, "What is this blue container for? Like, is this also trash?" And I used to throw trash in there, and people used to get mad at me.
Oh,
Um,
jeez, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and
Wow.
so, so it was hilarious. And then I like learned. I mean, I always knew what recycling was, but it just never
Yeah.
was a thing. In Saudi Arabia growing up, and obviously it's not a thing in Pakistan. Maybe it is now, but um,
Mm.
so when I moved here and I did that, I totally remember like not caring, and now I'm
Yeah.
like so particular. Now I get annoyed when someone throws any piece of plastic in the trash. I'm like, what are you doing, man? This is recycling.
Yeah, dude.
So that's pretty funny. What
So
goes around
yeah, I
comes
mean,
around, I guess.
thanks again, man. And yeah,
Oh,
good
not a
luck. I
problem,
mean,
man.
yeah.